Hey guys, Alex back again. I know it's been a while, but I have had other things going on. I've had some personal issues. I don't want to get into them now on the channel because I don't like to mix these sorts of things. But yeah, I haven't got a lot to show you actually. My intake has slowed down a bit because I have had to. I invested in some bins for my records so I can flick through them as if I'm at a record store, that sort of thing. But as a result of that, I have had to also invest in resealable record sleeves because this room is very dust prone. So there's a lot of dust that gets everywhere. In which case I do need to seal my records, so that's happening. So I've spent a lot of money on enough sleeves to seal everything. I've spent a lot of money getting some storage for my records, leaving me just enough to obtain a few things to show you guys, not too much. It's not going to be like my previous hauls where I save up for like a couple weeks and then I'll show you guys, but this time around I've saved it for a couple weeks and haven't got too much to show you. So I mean, I've got a few 7s, got a 12-inch to show you, and I've got about 9 albums I want to say, well 8 albums and an EP, but we'll leave it at that till we get there. I'll show you the 7 inches first. So yeah, let's get into those, starting off with Who Is It by Michael Jackson, backed with the Rock With You, the Masters at Work remix of Rock With You on the Blue Epic label. These are all mint, by the way. So the Bee Gees, 1st of May, backed with Lamplight on Polydor. It does need a bit of a clean, but other than that it's fine. The Logical Song by Supertramp, backed with Just Another Nervous Wreck. This is the song, or the Logical Song is the song that introduced me to Supertramp. Once I heard this, I was just hooked on their stuff. I became a fan from there. Blame It On The Boogie by the Jacksons, backed with Do What You Wanna. I had the album with Blame It On The Boogie, but I didn't have the 7, so I was really stoked to pick that up. Talk Talk, one of my favourite 80s bands. This is Life's What You Make It, and it's back with It's Getting Late in the Evening, which to my knowledge is not an album track on EMI there. So yeah, nice stuff. Bread, Baby I'ma Want You, backed with If. This is a reissue of this single from '85, but it's still nice to have a nice copy of my favourite Bread song on 7-inch. And I do say 7-inch instead of 45 because not all 7s are run at 45 RPM, obviously. But next up we have Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen, backed with I'm in Love With My Car. Nice one on that. And being a big Queen fan, I also picked up Killer Queen by Queen, backed with Liar, and as you can see this is on the Electra Gold label. This next one, I didn't have anything by this artist on vinyl. I had one CD by her, but we won't talk about that because it's not really relevant. But well, it is because it's a CD of this artist. But I do happen to have something by this artist on vinyl now because I picked this up. It's I Put a Spell on You by Nina Simone, and it's backed with Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood. Mono pressing on Philips. I think this is the most I spent on a 7-inch in a very long time, but it wasn't even that expensive, to be honest with you guys. So there we go. Next up is Layla, Derek and the Dominoes, Bell Bottom Blues. The only thing I have with Layla on it is a Best of Eric Clapton compilation, so it's nice to have that. And final 7-inch I'm going to show you guys is Rocket Man by Elton John, my favourite Elton John song, and it's backed with Holiday Inn and Goodbye. And this is actually my first thing on the DJM label as well. Nice mint. Well, the A side's nice and mint. The B side is a bit crackly, but we'll forget about that. And we'll move on. I have been able to acquire a bit more money recently for a new job of mine that involves DJing at a nightclub in town, and it's all MP3, but it's all modern stuff. And one song that, so obviously I now have to keep up with the charts and things, and it's not good, but one song that I do really like, that I play when I'm DJing, is One Kiss by Calvin Harris and Dua Lipa. It's got the radio mix and the extended mix on it. The only thing I don't like about this, and because when it was sealed, it was cheap, it was sealed, but there was nothing on the shrink to tell me that this was a picture disc. It plays fine. It doesn't sound any different to a regular, to a standard pressing. I mean, it could do. My stereo is not the best setup in the world, but I can still tell the difference between a good and bad pressing. Obviously, it's really good. So yeah, that's another reason I've had a lot of time off, because of my DJing job. I've had a lot of stuff going down, but yeah, this is a really nice pickup. It was really cheap as well. One song that I've fallen in love with since I started DJing. So, well, I liked it before I was DJing, but I like it even more now that I am DJing. So, really weird how that works. But there we go. The rest of it, none of this I have played while DJing, but if you do want to hear what I've done, I'll leave a link to my one of my mixes down in the description below, so you can check it out. But we'll forget about that, and we'll move on to this. Because these are the albums, starting off with a soundtrack. This is Back to the Future, one of my favourite movies of all time, probably easily. 85, of course, is the year. I love the cover of Earth's Angel on here. This Earth Angel is just a really amazing song, as is the cover of Johnny B. Good. But then you've got the whole A side, which is fantastic. Power of Love, Huey Lewis and the News. Back in Time as well by Huey Lewis and the News. Time Bomb Town by Lindsey Buckingham. Back to the Future theme song. And then Heaven in One Step by Eric Clapton. Just an incredible soundtrack. Absolutely phenomenal movie. I love all three Back to the Future movies about just as much, because I grew up on these and Star Wars basically. So nice to finally own a nice copy of that. Next up, you're going to see a lot of classic albums here that I didn't own yet, so it's nice to pick these up. But we recently lost the Queen of Soul. This is not an Aretha Franklin album, but rest in peace, Aretha. Or rest in power, really, because she was just so talented. But this is another legendary soul singer. This is Roberta Flack with Killing Me Softly. I didn't own this yet, but it's nice to finally have a nice copy of this. I mean, the cover isn't brilliant, but the vinyl was perfect, so I picked it up for that. Of course, 73 is the year on this. This is the earliest record, other than, not including the 7s, this is the earliest record you're going to see in this video, because everything else is 80s or upwards. So nice to pick up a copy of this for a decent price. So there is Roberta Flack's Killing Me Softly. Next up, another classic album I didn't own yet. This is Friends by Shalamar. 1982 is the year on this. This does, of course, have the title track Friends. It has A Night to Remember. It also has the classic soul song tune I Can Make You Feel Good, which is just a fabulous song in general. Absolutely phenomenal album, just from front to back. Highly recommend this if you like 80s soul music. This is a staple, and I don't know why I didn't have this yet, but there we go. I finally have a nice copy of that. Another one for the Led Zeppelin collection, not my favourite Led Zeppelin album, but I did pick it up. It's Houses of the Holy. It needs a bit of a clean, but other than that, it plays perfectly. Of course, their fifth studio album. Once I have Led Zeppelin 2, I have their first 6 albums on vinyl, so I'm still waiting on a nice copy of Led Zeppelin 2 to come up, but until then I picked up Houses of the Holy. Not my favourite album by them, but there's a couple of tracks on here I did enjoy. But it's a good album. I'm not going to put it down. It is a good album. Of course, 73. I do believe it's original pressing. I could be wrong on that, but obviously I'm not too up to date with what pressings things are. I just know labels and condition, and that's all. Like, condition's all that matters to me, really, and the sound of it. Because as long as the pressing's good, I'm happy. I did pick up another album for the Supertramp collection. This is Famous Last Words, again from '82. Really nice copy of this. The last album containing Roger Hodgson as a member of the band. Absolutely incredible album. I would say probably an overlooked album just because it's after the majorly successful Breakfast in America album. As you can see, I've already sealed everything as well, so I'm going to have to be careful when I unseal this, because I do want to show you that really nice custom label. It did come with the original inner sleeve as well, so there's that. But there's the custom A&M label. Really nice stuff there. It did come with the original inner with all the lyrics and things. I'm not going to pull that out because then I'll be here forever trying to put things back. But yes, really, really beautiful copy of this album. Crazy, the opening track just blew me away and really took me by surprise because I didn't have any expectations for this album because I didn't really know much about it. But it really took me by surprise and I love it, so nice to add that to the Supertramp collection. Big Supertramp fan, so nice to have that. Next thing is another 80s classic, I guess. This is Duran Duran with their self-titled debut, as they did have 2 self-titled albums. But of course, Girls on Film was the big track off this album. Just a really good album. They did a documentary recently on the history of their music. They even talked about doing the Bond theme. So that was a nice documentary to watch, and since then I've just had this thing with Duran Duran wanting to check out more of their stuff. I mean, because I knew Girls on Film already from the Stranger Things soundtracks. It was used in that, but outside of Girls on Film and Hungry Like the Wolf, I didn't really know too much about Duran Duran, so it's nice to start picking up more of their stuff and getting into them a bit more. So nice to pick that up. Okay, that's it for the classic stuff. The next 3 things, I'll move these over to the side. These next 3 things are all things you might not know what they are. Starting off with this. Now, I've shown this band off before. Cigarettes After Sex. It has a record on my channel for being my most viewed video, because I did an unboxing of their album last year, and that was my first video on this channel. But this is their EP. It's called I, and it's got the, I want to say the hit, but it's a 46. I think it's 46 million hits. With Nothing's Gonna Hurt You Baby. Awesome thing. I didn't even know this was on vinyl, to be honest, but I did get it cheap, and it was a nice little pickup to add to the collection. Of course it's a reissue, but it's still nice to own it, as now I have everything by this, at least to my knowledge, everything that's by this band that's been released on vinyl, I now own it, so it's nice to have it for that reason. Yeah, I'll try and get needle drops in on these next 3 things, but I'm not making any promises. But if I can, then you will definitely see that, obviously. But yeah, this is just a nice EP. All songs on this are great, so definitely worth checking out if you like laid back, sort of ambient, chill out type music, because that's exactly what this is. On the other end of the spectrum though, this band, Soons, who I got a chance to see live back in April. They were fantastic. Ever since then I've been obsessed with this band. This is just an incredible album. The song Instrument is brilliant, Unknown is brilliant, Nobody Can Save Me Now is brilliant, Translate's brilliant. This whole album actually, just from start to finish, is brilliant. They are a Canadian alternative shoegaze band, is what I'm gonna classify them as. They are Canadian, they're from Montreal, but whether you want to class them as shoegaze, indie rock, alternative rock, it's completely up to you, but they definitely fall into that sort of sound, at least with me. The cool thing about this one, this particular copy, this was the limited edition one when it first came out, but it's actually cheaper than the official album, or the standard black copy. And it comes with this poster, which is meant to be a big copy of the album cover, but it's just an add-on to it, I suppose. Nice little artwork there. Inner sleeve, nice thing. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but if you hold it up to the light, you can see that it's a translucent purple colour. I don't know how well you can see it, but again, it's a really, really nice vinyl. Purple is one of my favourite colours, so grabbing that was, of course, something I wanted to do. And there it is. I finally have something by a band I saw months ago, and I've been planning to get something by them ever since, but never got around to it. So nice to finally own something by them. And I'll give you guys a couple of needle drops if I can, because this is one of my favourite albums at the moment. And it was released in 2016, but it is just a stellar album from front to back. Incredible stuff. Just incredible.
Look at the sky, look at the sky. Instrument.
And the final thing I wanted to show you is very similar to what I showed you before, very similar to Cigarettes After Sex, Jay Churcher. He's a bit more electronic based than ambient, but he has such a similar voice to the lead singer of Cigarettes After Sex that it's uncanny. Another 2016 release on the 37 Adventures label. This is on Standard Black Vinyl, so I'm not going to get it out to show you, but this is just a phenomenal album from front to back. Just absolutely incredible stuff. The whole album is just brilliant. It's definitely worth checking out, again, if it's your sort of thing. Or if it sounds like your sort of thing anyway, but definitely something a bit more obscure that's worth checking out. That's everything I'm showing you in this video. I apologize if I didn't go into too much detail. I don't really have too much to say about anything that I've showed you. I just want to show you, say a little bit about it and move on. That's the aim of these videos. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I apologize if I'm a little late on getting this out. I apologize if... Sorry, I have an itch. I apologize if I go away for like longer than my usual, then just know I'm always coming back. I just got personal stuff going on, or I'm really busy now with my 2 jobs going, which is just chaos, but they're a lot of fun, so I can't really complain too much. Anyway, I will hopefully see you guys again soon. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. If you are a regular to my channel, welcome back, and I'll see you guys again very shortly. Peace.